Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co., and this is an unboxing and rambling of Euthia, Torment of Resurrection. Euthia, Torment of Resurrection is I guess it's a dungeon crawler-esque, more of an exploration RPG hero. I don't even know the official genre. It's like Mage Knight. That's the official genre it is, which I guess means it has a degree of RPG. It has a degree of hero stuff. It has a degree, that is the RPG stuff. It has a degree of wandering around the board, trying to level up, find things, fight and slay various things, elementals and whatnot. It has a whole bunch of stuff. I'm trying to think the best way to handle this. One of these is the big storage box. The other one is the actual game. Let's put this Torment of Resurrection Legendary Collection off to the side for right now. We'll come back to it soon enough. And for those new here, this is an unboxing and rambling, as I said already. That means I will talk about Euthia, but I'm going to talk about whatever ends up happening at the same time. Anything that comes to mind, from Euthia to thoughts about the Kickstarter to who knows, whatever, however. If it comes to mind, I'm talking about it. But anyways, Euthia, Torment of Resurrection. So, for those who follow the channel, well, religiously, I guess, first of all, thank you, you're the best. Secondly this is a game that if you watch my videos, and I haven't rewatched them in a while, so I'm going by memory of what I said, not necessarily actually what I said. The good news is, memory is more important. What actually happened is not nearly as important as what I think happened. I'm lying, obviously. What actually happened is far more important. But in my recollection, Euthia was a game that I almost backed. I actually recall backing it, and then towards the end... Oh boy, this is hot. Okay, give me a second. I'm going to have to pause. Okay, there we go. Okay, I need to get a good, little finger crunch in there to be able to do this. I'm sorry, usually I put this under the top camera. Let's go ahead and do that now. I just wasn't confident I can get this all out under the top camera. We have our rules, our more rules. Okay, this is not a good start. Okay, so this is what we have. We have, let me move this off to the side. We have 1, we have 2, we have 3, and we have 4. None of those are short. I just went from very interested to very intimidated. So let's talk more about what happened here and how I have this game. I mean, short version is the publisher sent it to me, but let's go ahead and go through this. We have Euthia, Torment of Resurrection, the rulebook. Okay, this rulebook is 35 pages long. Let's see how text heavy it is versus graphic heavy. So text heavy, we got graphics. The text is fairly small though, although lots and lots and lots of graphics, so maybe not so bad. Lots of examples, this is not bad. This is not the worst. This is a comprehensible rulebook. A lot going on. Don't get me wrong. When I say this is not the worst, I do not mean this is easy. This is a homework assignment. Speaking of which, I did a video on this a week ago maybe, this week sometime. I did a video on this recently. I'm doing a game a day challenge for the entire 2021. I want to play a new game every single day. To be clear, if I run out of games to play, I consider that a win. The problem is I have too many games to play right now. I don't have 365 games. I got a few comments saying, how do you have that many games? I don't have that many games. I have a chunk of games unplayed, and I always have new ones coming in. But this is our appendix, okay? So our appendix, in theory, the book contains a detailed account about the specifics of your adventures in Euthia. I don't know enough about this game to know if I'm going to be referencing this on a regular basis, or only when I say something like, hey, Fireball, Guardian, whatnot. I don't know how often I'm referencing it. It looks like it's fairly coded out as if it's a reference as opposed to a rule book that I read, but it's another 30 pages, okay? Then we have a scenario book which slid across the table rapidly. Then we have a scenario book which is much shorter, but also is a scenario book. This is only something you need to pull out when you're actually doing the scenario. We have the Hunt, which is likely our intro scenario, coming in at 30 minutes per player. That's what I'm probably going to be starting with because you got to start somewhere. And this is basically just more and more and more. But this is, again, something you don't have to read. So really it's a 35-page rulebook. It's not the worst, but it's also a lot. Then we have the lore and art. This is definitely optional reading, just from a quick glance through it. You definitely do not need to read through this at all. It's your choice to read through it, and they probably will read through it at different points. We have The Awakening. We have all these kinds of small little stuff. A fairly small book. Lots of great art in this game. So, going back to my interest level. I backed this game on Kickstarter. I eventually canceled my pledge because I had too many active pledges at the time and I wasn't confident in my ability to play everything. It's one of those rare instances of shelf control that I display on the channel. Although I don't... Yeah, it was on the channel. I still had a channel back then. I had a channel. I have to always remember whether something was pre or post my channel. Here we have our achievement sheet, which is the same thing every time. No, these are peel off sheets. Okay, so you can peel these off and do the different sheets, just same copies of the same. Okay, cool. I'll look into more of that later. Then we have our various player aids, maybe? No, these are not player aids. They're specific. We have Maldor and Skoldur and Aiel. I don't know what these are. Maybe the locations. I don't know enough about what they are yet. We'll find out. Now, don't get me wrong. I know some amount about this game. I know a decent amount about how it plays from an overview level. You're going to be walking around the city, exploring things, leveling up your character, dealing with the various tokens. I don't even know what these stickers are. But let's see. Okay, let's put these off to the side here, and let's dive into this box. Okay, we got a lot of plastic baggies, which is always awesome. I always appreciate a good plastic baggie. And these are not in plastic baggies. They're just plastic baggies on plastic baggies. Let's put those off to the side. And let's see what we got over here. Okay, so we have a lot of things over here. Now, one of the things I've already heard about this game from people who have started going through it is you basically need an insert. It's not optional. You need an insert. We have our player aids. I guess they're player aids. We'll go through it shortly. We have our cards, our cards, our cards. Whole bunch of cards. Let's lift this sheet out over here. Then we have, whoa boy, oh boy, okay. We're just going to keep lifting these out one at a time as we figure out what we have over here. Is this the extra box? I don't even know what's extra. No, this can't be extra. Let's pull this out over here. Nope, that's going to be just mountains. Oh my gosh, mountains. This is a homework assignment. Okay, this is a homework assignment. Ugh. There we go. Did I cut myself doing that? I don't think so. And we're fine. We're good to go. This can be tossed behind me, and we'll deal with that later. And this can go on the floor. So, this is what we have here. Okay, just a whole lot of cardboard that all needs to be punched. Holy schmagaggies. Holy schmagaggies. This is a lot of stuff. Let's go through it. Let's go through it. We got a lot of things to go over today. This is way too much stuff. Again, they have a organizer. They have these little things, towers you can make where you can put your tokens in. They're basically essential, it seems. And I remember that was an actual problem. I mean, the box on Kickstarter didn't look this big. The box on Kickstarter looked like it's half the size. Yeah, so these look like the player aids. We have trade rules. So these are doubled up. So yeah, this looks like we have 2 copies of each player aid for a variety of different options over here as you have the gameplay, beginning of round sequence, the player's turn, end of round, rinse and repeat as you wander around leveling up. They have a solo mode. They have, just wandering around dealing with each other. I don't recall if they have player-to-player combat. I don't recall that. But we'll put that off to the side too. And then let's start dealing with these. So, that's going to go on the floor as we go through this. These are your player boards. This is going to be a table hog, just to be very, very clear. I can just tell, this is your player board. This is a punch-outable player board. Oh boy, there's going to be so much punching here. There's going to be so much punching. Hi, I'm Alex. Yeah, so let's go ahead and see our player boards over here. You can see our locations for holding things, our locations for armor, for goods, tracking some various stats and whatnot, holding everything. This is going to be Dral over here. Dral. We have Aiel. We have Dral. We have Kelia. Are these the same things as the sheets we had? Were the sheets player references? I'll have to go back to those. I think those might have been sheets. We have Kelia. We have Maldor. Those sheets must have been character references for how these characters work. Because each character is different in what they bring to the table as far as how they activate. We have Skoldur. Yeah, they're not locations. They're characters. Okay. And then we have Tassiri. Now, I don't know if we have anything else in that other box. We'll have to go through and see what we actually have. There are miniatures over here. Overall, artwork is fantastic. That part's all good. The intimidation factor is a solid 10. Definitely walking into this incredibly intimidated as far as what it brings to the table. We have all of these. Now, I'm not going to be punching these all out on camera. I don't have that much space on my memory cards over there. But we have our various token trays over here. These are all going to be going in stacks. We'll show you how that works soon enough, probably, maybe. Well, once I punch this by mistake, we can go ahead and see. These are the cards over here. We have a stat on the back. It's a composite bow. So you can see it over there, how it deals damage, the cost of it, things like that. And there's just like tons of these. So if you go ahead and just flip these over, these are all some examples of just the sheer amount of equipment type of things you could have. Scrolls, items, all of that. Let's flip this over as well. Just tons of stuff. Tons and tons and tons of stuff. We have our items, we have our She's Blessing, we have Divine Strike. The variableness of this and the level up factor is insane. This feels like it could be a huge, ridiculously over-the-top video game, but I prefer board games, not video games, which is why I still keep coming back to these things. And I don't believe it's campaign-driven, by the way, which is a big thing. It might be long, that's a factor. But I'd rather have a long game. Speaking for myself, my own personal preferences, I'd rather have a longer game that takes 4 hours and I only table twice a year because of it, over a campaign game that I can play a lot more often, but then I end up getting to a certain point where I forget where I'm up to and what I'm doing and just don't continue going. These look very cool. I do want to dive into this. I will say this. The intimidation factor is incredibly high, but the cool factor, I mean, look at some of these things. We have malediction, we have gem mastery, place any type of gem on a gem slot. No idea what these things do. No idea, but they look cool. They are definitely giving you a lot of stuff over here. This is going to be our sheet full of tokens, which we're going to put under our character sheets and eventually punch it and slot it once we deal with the actual, you know, oh my gosh, dear Lord. Okay, so we have this token tray over here, just tons and tons of tokens as far as these go. Then we have the part where I said, dear Lord, which is understanding and realizing that these are just more tokens. So I believe the bottom stack is probably map locations, just because we haven't seen those yet. So we have more tokens over here, just more tokens. Just going to go through these very quickly, just showing you, just to give you an idea of just how many tokens there are. There's so many. These look like more like resources though, so less you know, goods. Oh no, we got goods, we got armor, we got treasure chests, we have it all. We have it all. We have it absolutely all. I can keep saying this, the intimidation factor is absolutely off the charts. So anyways, let's go back to what is going on. So I was saying how I was interested in the game, it looked very cool. I eventually came to my senses and canceled my pledge just because I realized I have Mage Knight and I don't play Mage Knight as it is enough. And I think Mage Knight's a fantastic game. And I was sitting there thinking, what are the chances that this one holds up? If I recall correctly, it was a first-time creator or first-ish time creator, and I just wasn't confident that this was the right choice for me to spend this much money on and get it at the time. It turns out that the game has landed, and a lot of people have been very happy with the game. Not everyone, I believe, but I've seen mostly positive coverage, mostly positive feedback on the game. And so I saw the publisher reaching out in terms of asking for who wanted review copies, and I was like, I definitely want a review copy because I wanted to get it back then, and it's only common sense that stopped me. This time around, I definitely want to see what goes on and whether I missed out or not. Again, lots of stuff here, a whole bunch of things. Okay, so we have more token trays. Let's turn these around and see what we got here. I'm not going to punch everything. This would go on way too long. So we have token trays for money. We have more money. We have character slots over there. I know there are miniatures too. We have more and more. And here we got starting to land. Here's some of the land things. Let me show you a land piece, okay? This over here is a piece of land, a piece of terrain that you'd have to wander around to various locations to interact, to deal with the various bad guys you're going to fight, to deal with the various things you're going to engage with, stuff like that over here. We have the land, we have the land, we have more land. I'm going to keep saying land. See, here's what's going to happen. When I'm done filming this, I'm going to have to go ahead and punch these all out and organize them into their organizers. I'm going to pop on a movie or something like that because I don't imagine that this is something I want to do without having a movie. You see, here's the downside of organizing things. If I pop a movie on, then I'll have more fun while I'm doing this. But it's also a higher chance that I'll make a mistake and organize something incorrectly. So that fun aspect might cost me later. The flip side is, now that we're on the subject of movies, if you haven't watched the Reacher TV show on Amazon, you should fix that problem right away. Because the Reacher TV show on Amazon is fantastic. Okay, Jack Reacher, as a character, if you're not familiar, is a character from a book series from Lee Child that has been absolutely amazing. I've been reading the series for 13, 14 years now. And I already joined the party late. 13, 14 years does not mean I came when it started. It means I came when it was late. But I've loved those books ever since. And then they have the Tom Cruise movies, which were fine. I don't hate them the way some people do, but they also weren't memorable. Fine is not the same thing as this movie is really, really good. It was just totally fine. And then they have the TV show on Amazon that just came up recently, and I just started that. I didn't even start it the first day. I was like, oh, you know what? I have a day or two. I'm not in a rush. But I was expecting to be let down by it. The TV show is ridiculously good. If you like the Jack Reacher books, you should be watching the TV show. It is so good. It's just good. I'm saying, and all I'm saying is, if you want to watch that, that is amazing. In fact, I'm happy because we just finished watching The Witcher season 2, which I like The Witcher as well, by the way. Henry Cavill is amazing. He's one of my favorite characters in any anything he can be in. I liked him in Superman, I liked him in The Witcher, I liked him in The Man from U.N.C.L.E., I liked him in Sherlock Holmes, I liked him in basically anything he does. Plus, he plays Warhammer, which means he'd probably enjoy this game. I should invite him over to play. In fact, he'd probably enjoy The Witcher, the Witcher board game. So anyways, let's go ahead and see what we have over here. We have more packs on the side. We have our little Griffin pack here, which I assume comes with a miniature, and a whole lot of dead space. Is that what's going on here? I don't know why we have so much dead space here. We'll see. What else do we have? What's this? This is a dice? No, this is a stand. We have a standee. Why does the miniature need a standee? Haven't figured that part out yet. But I will say the miniature is nice. That is a nice miniature. So let's go ahead and show you this. This is the miniature for the Griffin, okay? If it can focus, let's take this out there. There we go. Sometimes it wants to focus something in the background, and you just have to remove that. This is a solid little mini over there. I mean, mini, little is relative, but it's definitely not over the top. I mean, if you compare this to some of the things we've seen over here, it's reasonable. It's a reasonable sized miniature, okay? Let's put that away, put this back in. Again, I don't know why. Here we have the Griffin's location. So you can see over here the Griffin has his own little location that you'll interact with. Its own little token in case you want the standee. And there's that. Don't know what it adds past that. I'm going to start off small in this game. It's not going to be starting off huge. It's going to be starting off very, very small, diving into it and seeing how things go. Then we have the miniature pack over here, which is going to give us our characters and an empty spot. Oh, I think I know what's going on there. That empty spot is likely for the Griffin, but that's just annoying though. I mean, the Griffin's going to go there, sure, I get that, but then we have an extra box just for the Griffin. I will figure that out later. I'm not going to let myself lose sleep over this right now, but in case that goes on there, let's push that over a bit, push this down, and let's take a look at some of these miniatures over here. So, lots of miniatures. Let's start with some of the basics, such as the little wizard character. These are nice minis. These are actually solid minis. They look very sun-dropped. Not actual sun-drop, but shaded. They have that shading effect going on, so they're fun in that sense. That miniature's okay. Don't love it. Don't hate it. Then we have this character over here, who I already like a little more. Again, still fine. Still not amazing, but I like her a little more than the pose of the guy over there. I felt the guy's pose was a little bit, just, I don't know. It was fine. Then we have, let's see. Let's pull up another character. If I can get this out. We have another girl over here, this time with a spear. I like her spear. If she can focus, let's go ahead and move this off to the side. There we go. So yeah, you can see over here. Again, very solid overall as far as what they're doing. I like the sculpts. There we go. Let's show you that, okay? Then we have more characters. We're not done yet. We have this girl over here. Okay. Holding some sort of fire in her hands or something. I can't even see. Let me go ahead and look. Holding a diamond, some sort of jewel in her hands. Okay, let's put that down. Let's put this down. I'm a little worried I'm going to dent that. I'll have to be very careful before I close this. This is... Some of these characters have these weapons that are kind of loose, and that I don't want to grab the weapon because then I'll snap. This guy I like. He's nice. Okay. He's a nice character over there. I like his axe. Detail, the fur cloak or whatnot. Little Jon Snowish over there. Speaking of TV shows, Game of Thrones is fantastic. Even the last season. I lie. The last season was fine. I thought the last season was totally fine. I thought people lost their minds over an okay show. It was good. Basically, Game of Thrones was a fantastic TV show that started to go off the rails a little bit earlier. Then, people were surprised that once it went off the rails, people were surprised that the ending was not that good, which I expected. I expected the ending to be totally okay. And to me, the ending of Game of Thrones was totally okay. It wasn't amazing. It wasn't bad. I'm not doing any spoilers or anything like that. Don't worry there. All I'll say is the first 4 seasons of Game of Thrones, when it followed the books, was fantastic. Then it kind of got a little worse and was enjoyable for the next 4 seasons or whatever it was. Was it amazing? No, it was enjoyable. Enjoyable is totally fine. And then people were like disappointed by the ending. I was totally fine with the ending. Could it have been better? Absolutely it could have. But you know what it was instead? It was finished, okay? Finished is better than nothing. I mean, George R. R. Martin's still writing his books, and you'll never actually read them. At this point, he can only let people down, right? So there's no real incentive to actually finish them. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen, but I can't imagine we ever see an actual ending to the Game of Thrones universe. So be happy you have the TV show, and then make up whatever fictional thing you want in your mind. I did see one fan theory video at one point saying like, oh, they could have done this and this and that, and I'm not going to go into it because it would be spoilery, but I will say I actually thought that was very, very impressive. The ideas they had and the way they implemented them. Maybe I'll see if I remember, I'll see if I can find a link to that video. I don't know if I can. It's been a long time. And I'll throw it into the video description. Only watch that video if you've watched Game of Thrones, because otherwise it won't make sense and it will spoil things potentially for you in the future. So there's that. So that's going to be the miniature pack. This, like I said already, is an incredibly inefficient use of space, left, right, and center. This entire thing, I can see already why people are like, you need an insert. I cannot imagine trying to store these tiles in bags as opposed to an actual thing. So I'm happy that I have that. Let's go ahead and take a look at some cards. I'm not going to go through every single deck over here. I don't want to go through everything. I'd rather actually, again, start on the process of, well, organizing it, creating the structure, creating the insert, putting it all away. That would be very, very helpful. There's actually a great guide. One more thing I'll throw in the description down below. What's his name? Nithrania, I think it is. Nithrania, YouTube channel. Who he has a unboxing, a reboxing, or some sort of video showing you how to organize this, which I think is absolutely essential. So let's go ahead and show you some cards. I don't know much about how these operate over here, but they definitely are things that want to kill you, and you'll have to kill them back. Again, the art's fantastic, the miniatures are fantastic, the giant scope and scale of everything's fantastic. The only question I have is this a game? Well, I mean, first of all, I have the question of is it going to be good or not. I mean, ultimately, just because a bunch of other people on the internet liked it, I mean, I guess they're not just on the internet, but just because a bunch of people liked it does not mean it's a game for me. But I would say, even if it is an amazing game, I am very much intimidated by just how big this game is and the scope and scale of it. And so that is going to be a factor in not just whether I enjoy it, but whether I keep it, practically speaking. This is a good time to mention, by the way, they have expansion and reprint coming to, I'm 99% certain it's coming to GameFound, but I'm not 100% certain. It might be Kickstarter. I'll throw a link to that down below as well if I have that. I believe that's coming in March. So my goal, by the way, my goal is to play this enough so that I can actually have some sort of review coverage up before then. We'll see if I do, because you saw that rulebook, and you saw that I could either read the rulebook or I could put this away. It's going to be one or the other. It's not going to be both. I only have time in the next 3 weeks to either assemble this all or read the rulebook, and I kind of need to do both. So I'll see what I can do. I make no promises, but I generally am better. I'm better with timelines in general. I'm better if I have a goal, if I have a date. The amount of things that can sit on the shelf just untouched because I'm playing other things, I'm playing games I like, I'm playing new stuff. There's a lot of stuff. But if you sit there and say, hey, Kickstarter's coming out, I can usually sit there and say, okay, great, now I have a date. So I'm going to go ahead and complete it in time for the date. Or, hey, look, something else is happening. Or if the publisher sends me a review copy and says, hey, I need coverage within 2 months, I'll make that happen. If they just send me a review copy, it might sit down for a while. I actually watched a fascinating TED Talk once, okay? There was a TED Talk once about the nature of procrastination, okay? With me so far? So it's about procrastinating in general, and just, what it does and the mindset and all that. Very fascinating TED Talk. If I remember, I'll leave a link down below. So we have Euthia, we have TED Talk, we have Game of Thrones, we have Game of Thrones theory, and we have the link to the new Kickstarter, or GameFound. So we have 4 links I have to remember to do, okay? So far. We have plenty of time in this video to find more things to talk about. But anyways, I don't know why I'm putting this away. I might still need this. So, what did the procrastination talk about? The talk about procrastination, the idea of it, we have our Elementalist mini pack over here, was the idea that procrastinators actually tend to do a very good job, or do a great job, or even arguably a better job than people who don't procrastinate, okay? Here was the idea and the theory. The idea and the theory was that people who spend time doing something right away, they do it right away, they call it a day. People who procrastinate, what they're doing is you have that mental task. Although I don't know if this applies to a rule book, but it applies to some theories. People who procrastinate will push something off, but then at the last minute they'll do the thing, and they will actually do so having mentally spent time thinking about the thing along the way. So let's say it's a school project or a homework assignment or something you're doing for work. You'll have mentally in the back of your mind been kind of devoting some form of energy to remembering or thinking about said thing. Elementalist scenarios. Oh, so a whole bunch of scenarios. Okay. I thought there was going to be rules. I mean, it is rules, but it's more scenario rules than rules, so I can deal with that. So it's basically saying procrastinators do a great job, and it's good to procrastinate. But then it's like, here's the twist. Here's the pivot. And by the way, here are the elementals on their little, tiles or whatnot. I assume there's elementals on those tiles. I haven't actually looked at it. But, I mean, it would be weird if there was no elementals on the elemental set. I don't know. I'll have to go take a look. Anyways, so where do procrastinators fail or fall apart or not do as well as their counterparts? And the answer was when there's no timeline. If there's no timeline attached, that's when procrastinators fail. You give them a timeline and they can do a great job. They can be totally fine. But if you don't give them a timeline, if you don't give them a set, firm end date, well then now they're just not getting it done. And I watched that video and I was like, this video is describing me. I tend to do a fairly decent job with a lot of things as long as I give myself a goal, a criteria, a timeline. I tend to get a lot of things done. Otherwise, I tend to push them off. And that's true in many things. It's true in games, it's true in any form of assignment, it's true in fixing something around the house. I have to be very dedicated in what I'm going to get done. So again, in the case of board games, it manifests itself in terms of just having timelines around Kickstarters or some other form of mental deadline I give. Don't get me wrong, I do play games that I get because I'm excited about them, so that does happen. I get a game comes in and I'm like, oh, let me play this game, and then I get a few plays in and I review it, and that's great. But if it doesn't hit that immediate excitement and rush, then it can sit there for a while. Now, the other thing I've done that works for me, which is not the same as having a timeline, but it's giving myself a timeline, is first of all, I've done things like videos where I sit there and say, hey, I'll try to do X by Y or whatever, that's fine. But other things I do is I usually walk into every single weekend with a list of things that need to get done, okay? It's usually my own personal list of here are the 15 things or whatever it's going to be that I want to get done. And it's specifically always, like every single time, it's more stuff than I can possibly do, without a question. It's not like, oh, maybe I can get it done. It's like, no, if I can maybe get 8 things done, I'm putting 15 on the list. And what ends up happening is then I knock a whole bunch of stuff off the list, as many as I possibly could. In general, I find having a list, a physical list of things that I'm trying to get done, really forces me to drive myself forward to actually get that stuff done. As opposed to just knowing it has to get done is not the same. Because then I have this like kind of mental mind game of I want to walk away from the weekend saying, look, I did these 8 things. And those 8 things don't have to be work, by the way. Sometimes it's something like, hey, play a game with my kids, or watch a TV show with my wife. Watch Reacher. But it's always just giving myself some form of homework. It might be read a rule book. It might be film a video. It might be play that game 3 times. It's just a list of things that are going to happen because I want them to happen. The alternative is I can waste an entire Sunday. If I don't do this, I can waste an entire Sunday and feel like, hey, the whole day went by and I did 1 or 2 things. How is it only 1 or 2 things? I don't know. Sometimes days just disappear. I don't know what happens to them. I don't know what's going on. I just know that it tends to happen. Okay, so we have a whole bunch of stuff here. We have our card sleeves. Okay, jeez. We have a giant box full of card sleeves over here. We have our metal coins. We have our custom dice. Okay, that's all in this box over here. And then we probably have our organizer. Okay, so just more and more of this. This is really going to be my homework assignment for tonight. Okay. I'm telling you, I am putting on... What am I going to watch? What should I watch while I do this? I feel like there's something I wanted to watch. What did I want to watch that this would be good to put on in the background? See, Reacher I'm watching with my wife, so I can't actually watch that while I do this. Witcher I'm done with. I'm still kind of in the middle of Schitt's Creek. I have fun with that one. It's a show that I've slowly been going through. Never really finished it. It's fun for like good background stuff, but I'm going to be focusing more this time round. I feel I'm in the middle of watching All of Us Are Dead as well. That's a little too frenetic and fast-paced for background something. It might be Schitt's Creek, but I feel like something better. I feel I could find something better to watch. I could restart watching The Good Wife. That's always a fantastic show that I've only really watched once, and I would love to dive into it again. Newsroom's also fantastic, as is The West Wing, but The West Wing I'd watch with my wife, Newsroom I watch with my wife, Good Wife I might even watch with my wife again, because we both really like those shows, we both like that style. There's got to be something on my list of stuff that I want to watch, that my wife doesn't want to watch, that I do want to watch, that I can throw in the background while I do this. I don't know. Let's go ahead. So we have card sleeves over here. This, as you might imagine, is card sleeves. We just have a whole bunch of card sleeves. We're going to close that now because it's not that interesting. Then we have our custom dice over here. These are going to be, as you can imagine, custom dice. These are actually fairly nice. Okay, these are fairly nice as far as things go. Here we go. Let's go ahead and roll them. I don't know how they work. I mean, they're dice. You roll them and they work. But this one is a particularly large dice. They're all just 1 through 6, I guess. Nothing particularly fancy about them. They're all just 1 through 6s. I guess we don't need that bag. Just go ahead and toss those in there. I really, really, really hope there's some sort of You know what? I'm going to go through the Nathaniel video. I was going to say I hope there's some sort of organizational something. And maybe there is, but if not, there is the Nathaniel video, so we'll be fine there. Okay, we got our dice up there. We have our coins. Let's take a look at our metal coins. We have our metal coins and our metal coin bag. Even better. Now, I'm going to keep this for right now in case I still need it, but it's probably entering the garbage pile later. But they're going to go into our metal coin bag. These are nice. These are nice coins. These are not cheaped out. Let's go ahead and take a look. Okay, so we have these coins over here. Let me see if I can show you a little closer, or that. Okay, these are our coins. Just, I don't want to like drop them all. I kind of want to drop them all, but let's just show you a smaller handful of a few of them, of different types over here, so you can get a good look. These are our coins, okay? They're nice. They have decent heft, not amazing heft. I've seen far better, but the texture, the quality overall, little chintziness to it. Not in a bad way, just chintzy little clinkiness. I feel there's a movie I was going to watch. I don't remember what it was. I'm trying to remember what movies there are on my potential playlist. I'll have to go take a look. I don't know. This is a later problem. Anyways, cool. That is our coin pack, which brings us finally to our organizer pack, and that will be everything. Unless there's some sort of sheet of paper in here, I feel I'm going to have to go to the Nethvania video and see over there. Okay. Organizer. Warning, choking hazard. Not suitable for children under 3 years. Well, I mean, okay. Here we go. Here's our organizer pack. So we have some of these, some of these, some of these. That's not what I want to do. Some of these, these. This bag, this bag, this bag, this bag, this bag, and we have something, okay? Well, that's not a ton. It's something, though. Shows us a little bit of how some of this works. And then we have this, okay? This is going to be the big thing over here. We're going to be making little organizers out of this. It looks like we have a whole bunch of these. These are, like, for instance, like taking these over here. This goes out like so. I'm trying to think if I want to figure this out on camera or not, but I don't think I do, because I'd rather be certain than do it incorrectly. So I'm not going to mess with things. But these are all basically beautiful ways of making little inserts piles where you can put things in or out. I'll showcase it all when I do a review, showing you how these work. But this is basically all insert material. Just construct it all, make little towers, do what you need to do. I feel there's... Oh, interesting. Okay, let's do it. Let's do one of them. Let's do one of them, because I think I can see how this works here. I think, he says, very unconfidently. So we have this like this, which will be that, okay? This over here. This is like that. Let's take this out. Okay. Then, let's put that out. Perfect. We got them all nice and cleanly. This will pivot out like this. This will swing out. This will likely be one that goes there, which means this is now floor material. And this can go, let's see, step 1. So I'm just following the steps over here, okay? Step 1, this goes into here like so. That seems, what? What? Oh, goes in there like that. Okay, perfect. I see what's going on. You have to punch these out over here, okay? So basically, you can't necessarily see it, but there are little things over here that punch out. I'm going to punch that out like that. Okay, perfect. Let's punch this one out over here too. Boom, and boom. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to take these out. These are going to go into our little floor pile as well. Like I said, this is going to be a 3-hour job, but it's okay. We got time. We got time. And then we're going to put that like so. We need one more of those. Does it matter, or are they all the same? It looks like they're all the same, so we're going to grab another one over here. Okay. We'll figure out exactly what's supposed to happen later. Then we need one of these, it looks like. Let's take a look. Just any 2 of those, it looks like. No, no. Needs to be one flat and one not flat, which means we need one of these, which is going to go like this, okay? This one over here with the little divots is going to slot into there, like so. Okay, so you're going to have these slotting in. Geez. Okay. That's going to come down. This would be better done. Here we go. Nope, nope, nope. Go down like that, like that, like that, like that. There we go. That nicely holds together. And then we need a regular flat piece, which we'll find over here. Okay. Again, I'm not doing all of them here like this. I'm just kind of doing this so you can get a basic idea. This one's going to go flat like that. You want to be attention. There's different orientations of stone versus not stone. And then lastly, we have something that hooks on the front, which will be this one over here. Okay? And you probably want to make sure the flags match, because there are different symbols here, so you can see the different type of resource it is, or whatever is going on. Looking at these, it does look like there are different options, although I'm not certain. We're going to go ahead and slot this one down over here. Honestly, by the way, that was really easy. That was really easy. So the goal of this is basically you play the game, and when you pull this off, that's your little storage container. You have everything nicely available and stackable over there of the specific types shown. So you're going to match the flags. Then when you're done playing, you can just sort them up again and put this down like that. That's very nice. I do like that. And with that, we're going to go ahead and end this. This is Euthia, Torment of Resurrection. Maybe if I really do go ahead and just do this right now, I'll find out what I watch, and I'll post that as the 5th link. The movie or TV show or something I watched while doing this. Why? No reason, but because I spent like 3 minutes thinking about it, and I feel that I have to follow up on what I actually ended up doing. In any case, I am Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you enjoyed this sheer amount of stuff. Very intimidating game. But we'll see. We'll see. Again, I've seen generally positive buzz around the game. I still have my copy of Mage Knight that needs to continue to get played. But in the meantime, I am excited to see what this game has to offer, how accessible it is, how complicated the rules are, how much interest there is in continuously diving down, leveling up, powering up, and doing everything you need to do in the game. And that is basically everything. Until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. And as always, have a good one.